I think it's important for us to be clear with people about where we stand. That promotes trust from people who follow me who do not agree with what I say. They know where I stand. I'm not going to try to act like I am impartial about the news and our culture, because who can be?
What is up, YouTube? Today we're going to do something a little out of the ordinary, kind of break the cycle of the election shenanigans that we've been doing for the past few months and will probably continue to do for the next few months. I sat down with Rachel Reeves last week. She's a mom of 4 up in Virginia, but she's also a news junkie and a history buff, and she really enjoys consuming the news and repackaging it for her tens of thousands of followers on Instagram. If you think of it, like this video, subscribe to our channel. If you have other topics within the news media and the media cycle, go ahead and throw them in the comments. I'd love to hear suggestions from you guys, and we'll try to tackle as many as we can. But without further ado, here is my interview with Rachel Reeves. Do some kind of cool transition, ooh.
My name is Rachel. The starting point for what I currently do on Instagram, where I report the headlines and commentary about the news cycle, but also what's happening really in terms of American politics and the American media. So I started a Instagram account, Here Are the Headlines, where I began to discuss with that community what we're seeing, the trends we're seeing, both in the federal government, but also local governments and the media machine, and asking questions that people have been asking for a long time. But I know that COVID opened up the eyes of a lot of people in our country to complacency in the American electorate, to simply imbibe whatever we're being told and to not ask questions. And so that's how it kind of began. And it's been, a little over 3 years.
This didn't start with COVID necessarily. It's been going on for a while. So what about COVID kind of made it out there in the open that people could actually see what's going on, whereas not as many people were before that?
Right. I think what COVID did for people was allow them to pinpoint precisely what they were uncomfortable with, because it was so out in the open. COVID negatively and directly impacted almost every single American in one way or another. People did not tolerate, or could not any longer tolerate, not being able to go to weddings, not being able to see family members, not being able to be with a loved one when they were dying in the hospital. But the lies, the corruption, and the manipulation, it was so clear that they were able to feel comfortable coming forward and saying, no more. Like, you can't lie to me anymore. You can't, trick me. It's obvious what's happening.
Do you have a litmus test for reliability of news sources? How do you, approach a news source and go, all right, is this true? Is this reliable information? And how can you test that?
It's different for each person. I know that there's no infallible news source, mine included. I'm a human. I make mistakes. So when I am encouraging other people, when they're looking at news, I encourage them to follow people who are clear about their bias, which is not a lot of people these days. People don't want to say, I have a progressive bent or I have a conservative bent. I'm a Christian. I am an atheist. People really are uncomfortable because they don't like to pigeonhole themselves. Instead, I tell people to really pursue people who are honest about their bias, but also open to conversations with people who disagree with them. I think that that's really important. And I think it's rare, but I hope that it's a growing pool of people.
Is there an underreported story that comes to mind right now that you're like, not many people are talking about this and more people should know about this? And how did you come upon that story?
I remember at the onset of 2024, I told people to really pay attention to what was happening with China and Taiwan. I think that that's something that comes to a head that's going to be a really big deal.
China held its own exercises in May after Taiwan's new president took office, and Chinese ships and planes continue to intimidate Taiwan almost daily. Taiwan's defense ministry says China is using gray zone warfare.
I think the advent and creation of AI is going to be probably one of the most consequential technological development.
Artificial intelligence, artificial
and
chat, GPT.
wow. There's always something about artificial intelligence on the news nowadays. Concerns over AI taking jobs and AI images spreading misinformation are rising.
I think that the dangers of it aren't being talked about enough. And so I do talk about AI with my children and, in my online space quite a bit, because I think that for all of the positives that are being proposed, I think that there's a real danger.
So I've selected, let's see, I think I have 7 headlines here, split almost down the middle of, it's a real headline, and then there's satire, a game that I'm going to start playing with every guest, or try to, and I'm workshopping the name of it. But the game is called, Is It a Joke, or Are Things Really That Bad? And so we'll see if you can go 7 for 7 here. Sound good? Okay, so is this real or satire? Trump posts fake AI images of Taylor Swift and Swifties, falsely suggesting he has the singer's support.
That is true.
Yep, that's a real headline. I think that one was CNN, our good friends over there at CNN. Study finds polls are only accurate when your candidate is ahead.
Accurate to whom? Satire.
Satire. It's Babylon Bee. It's but
okay.
It again, comedy imitates reality.
I could see it showing up somewhere. Yeah.
Yep. SNL host calls out Friends for having no black characters.
Oh, true. That has to be true, right?
Man, you're 3 for 3. You're doing pretty well here.
Okay.
Yep, that's a real headline. Quinta Brunson went on a rant at the beginning of SNL. Okay.
Okay.
I'm giving away what this one is already because I'm laughing. Tim Walz asks guy guarding tomb of unknown soldier why he doesn't just desert him.
Oh my gosh.
Satire. There you go. 4 for 4. Okay. We'll wrap it up with this one. No, actually, we're gonna have 2 more. Danish 17-year-old girl who used pepper spray to fight off a rapist near migrant asylum center is told she will be prosecuted for carrying the weapon.
True.
That's a real headline. So it's not just America that's off the rails at this point.
Yeah.
And okay, here we are. Last one. Kamala Harris vows to sign bipartisan border bill opposed by nearly every Senate Republican.
Satire.
It's actually a real headline. Let's see who put this one. You were almost undefeated.